the birthplace of humanity? Hi, it's me, number 21. In October 2022, a group of researchers announced the discovery of new fossils from our species, Homo sapiens. These fossils were discovered at a site called Jebel Irhoud in Morocco, which is located at around 80 kilometers southeast of Rabi. Now, this itself is not news. The site has already yielded significant fossils from hundreds of thousands of years ago. But there's something special about these specimens because they are 300,000 years old, which means that they have completely rewritten our understanding of human origins. These fossils redefine our concept of when, where, and how Homo sapiens first appeared. It was previously thought that we originated around 300,000 years ago in what is now southern Africa. But this discovery pushes back the clock by 50,000 years and shifts our point of origin to North Africa. This suggests that North Africa played a critical role in the emergence of our species. And so the title of this video is certainly warranted. But let's get back to these amazing discoveries. What did the fossils tell us about how these early humans actually lived? Well, in simple terms, they tell us that modern humans from 300,000 years ago looked very much like us, but with slightly heavier brow ridges and larger teeth. They also had larger brains than most of our closest ancestors. Now, interestingly, the lead researcher, Professor Jean-Jacques Hublin from the University of Bordeaux, believes that these early humans likely lived just like we do today. He believes that they hunted large mammals such as elephants, hippopotamus, and wild cattle using spears. They also probably lived in family groups consisting of adult couples with their children and parents, basically an extended family living together. However, it should be noted that while this may seem like a very simplistic way of life, it took millions of years for humans to evolve the intelligence and abilities necessary to develop such sophisticated hunting techniques and social structures. In fact, our earliest ancestors first emerged in Africa around 7 million years ago. And it wasn't until about 2.5 million years ago that they began making stone tools. So these early humans in Morocco were highly skilled hunters and gatherers who had developed advanced strategies and techniques over thousands of years. They were also likely very adaptable and resourceful, able to thrive in a variety of environments. But what was Morocco like at this time? Did these early humans live in a lush jungle or a dry desert? To answer this question, we need to take a journey back in time. Stone tools in 2009, archaeologists in Morocco made another important discovery, and they found a site with some of the oldest tools ever seen, including some of the world's oldest evidence of tool-making traditions. This shows that early humans were capable of planning ahead and using their intelligence to solve problems. So what does this tell us about life in prehistoric Morocco? Well, it tells us that the climate was likely not too harsh. After all, the people who lived there were able to build shelters and develop complex tools. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to survive. But it also tells us that the climate was not too comfortable either. If it had been, then there would have been more plant growth and fewer large animals to hunt. Therefore, we can infer that the climate was semi-arid, similar to the Sahara Desert today. This is backed up by other evidence, such as the types of plants and animals that lived in the area. For example, fossilized palm wood has been found in Morocco, which indicates that there were oases and freshwater sources. There was also evidence of hippos and crocodiles, which prefer freshwater habitats. In addition, the bones of birds that couldn't fly, such as ostriches, have also been found, which indicates that the climate was not too cold. However, things changed over time. As the ice sheets grew and shrank, the Sahara went through periods of being green and arid, which affected the types of animals and plants that could live there. For example, during the last ice age, around 20,000 years ago, the Sahara was largely covered in ice. This led to the extinction of many species, including some of the largest mammals. However, humans adapted and survived by developing new technologies and hunting strategies. In fact, humans have been in North Africa for over 100,000 years. But why did they stay? What made this region so special? Well, it's likely due to a combination of factors. First, the Sahara was once a rich source of food and resources. There were plenty of plants to eat and animals to hunt, as well as materials for making tools and shelter. Additionally, the climate was relatively stable, even though it did change over time. Finally, the landscape itself was likely quite varied, with mountains, forests, and grasslands providing different habitats for a variety of species. This abundance of resources and stable climate likely attracted humans to the region, leading them to settle down and eventually develop agriculture and cities. The transition to farming. As the ice sheets receded around 12,000 years ago, the Sahara became greener and wetter. This led to the expansion of grasslands and forests, which provided new habitats for plants and animals. Humans took advantage of these changes by domesticating plants and animals, which allowed them to settle in one place and grow their own food. This transition to farming allowed for the development of villages and eventually cities. But what does all this tell us about the birthplace of humanity? Well, it tells us that humans likely originated in a region that had a variety of climates and habitats. This is supported by the fossil record, which shows that early humans lived in different parts of Africa, from the mountains of Ethiopia to the coastal plains of Tanzania. Additionally, genetic evidence suggests that humans migrated out of Africa in multiple waves, with each migration representing a different population. This supports the idea that humans evolved in a region with diverse environments, allowing for the development of different populations with unique traits and adaptations. Morocco's position in the story today. Morocco is often overlooked. When it comes to the story of human evolution, most people think that our origins lie somewhere in East Africa, like Tanzania. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Morocco is actually a critical part of the story. It's where our species first appeared, and where we developed the ability to adapt to new environments and invent new technologies. In fact, some scientists believe that the reason why humans were able to migrate out of Africa and populate the rest of the world was because of the diversity of environments in Morocco. This forced early humans to be more adaptable and resourceful, which ultimately helped them to thrive in new environments. But what about the future of discovery in Morocco? Are there any plans to continue the archaeological digs and search for more clues about our origins? Well, yes, there are several ongoing digs in Morocco, and scientists are hopeful that they will find even more evidence of early human activity. One of the main goals is to find a complete skeleton of an early human ancestor. This would provide valuable insight into how our species evolved and how we differed from our ancestors. Additionally, scientists are also looking for evidence of language and symbolic thinking. This could help us understand when and how these abilities developed, which could shed light on what makes us uniquely human. It's possible that Morocco holds the key to some of the deepest mysteries of human evolution. With continued research, we may unlock a treasure trove of information about our origins and what set us apart from other species. Morocco's forgotten legacy, the story of Morocco's prehistoric past, is one of resilience, adaptation, and ingenuity. From the earliest humans who first set foot on its soil to the civilizations that thrived in its diverse landscapes, Morocco's history is a testament to the human spirit. While the cradle of mankind may not be as well known as other archaeological sites, its significance in our collective story cannot be overstated. Through continued exploration and research, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the rich heritage that Morocco has to offer and learn more about the fascinating journey that led to where we are today. So what do you think? Did you know that Morocco played such a big role in the story of human evolution? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my others. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to all my supporters.